Let's get this show on the road. Hi there, everybody. Carson Meredith with you. It is 7:05 on this Saturday, May 10th. Hope you've had a good Saturday. Hope you've had a good weekend, a good week since we last spoke. At least we've had a nice weekend, finally. If only we had this last week for Derby, but that's just part of life. But it's not going to be here forever as this quiet weather. We've got a stormy setup to talk about for the upcoming work week, which does, in fact, feature an alert day for Friday. So we'll talk about that. Of course, we'll look ahead, of course, to our stormy setup for the early part of this work week as well. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Why not? Let's not waste any time. Let's get you outside tonight to downtown Louisville from our Jeffersonville camera. That's been the storyline today. What you're seeing right now, a lot of that high, thin cloud cover that at times kind of made it feel overcast. It was just thick enough to really keep the sun from moving through it, if you will. But we've seen a little bit of blue sky late this afternoon and now heading into this evening. And all in all, despite the cloud cover, it's been a pretty good day, don't you think? 73 is our current temperature here in Louisville. Note the dew point. Note the dew point, 37. We've got some very dry air in place, and that's really going to help keep the rain chances in check until tomorrow night, really. So a lot of Mother's Day itself during the day tomorrow looks good. But once we get towards late evening tomorrow, and especially during the overnight, that is when those rain chances will start to go up. And you see the reason why. Another, basically a cutoff low. It's not quite as cut off as what we had back on Derby weekend, but it's still just been kind of spinning and spinning and spinning in place down along the Gulf Coast. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia seeing quite a bit of rain and even severe weather today near Dothan, Alabama, which is a town in southeast Alabama known for the National Peanut Festival every year. Look it up. It's interesting. I've been there. They had a decent tornado go very close to that town earlier today. You look closely, you can see some severe thunderstorm warnings near Jacksonville, Florida. I see a severe thunderstorm warning near Montgomery, Alabama, and another severe thunderstorm warning close to Macon, Georgia. We don't have to worry about severe weather for the most part with this low, but it is starting to trek back to the north, but at the same time, it's kind of wanting to go north and west just a little bit. So the center of the low may actually drift towards Arkansas before it can finally move on top of us by Tuesday, and then try to get a move on as we get towards Wednesday. All the while increasing our shower and thunderstorm chances as early as tomorrow night. So a pretty unsettled setup is taking shape for the first half of this upcoming work week. I'll zoom in a little tighter. You can see the leading edge of the rain with this low is knocking on the door of the Music City tonight, right along I-40 across Tennessee. But as we mentioned right off the top, here at home, there's a lot of dry air in place. And at least initially, that's going to eat away at any raindrops that try to make it to the ground. They fall out of the clouds, but the air's so dry, it just eats them up before they can reach the ground. So our forecast tonight is virtually totally dry. I will keep a 10% chance for maybe a very random shower that tries to sneak into our far southern counties tonight. And by southern counties, I mean Grayson, Hart, Green, Taylor, and Adair. If you live in any of those 5 counties, don't be totally surprised if you see a couple of showers, very, very light showers tonight, overnight. Everybody else, no problems at all tonight. We'll stay dry. 54 is our forecast low, with those clouds continuing to stream in. That combined with that breeze that's been out of the east mostly today, that's going to keep us on the milder side as we go through this evening and overnight tonight. So here's your Mother's Day outlook in a little more detail, and I'll get to the comments. I'm not ignoring them, I promise. You notice that 10% chance early in the morning tomorrow at 8 a.m. That's still for maybe a stray shower in southern Kentucky early in the day. If we do see any showers tomorrow, quite frankly, at least during the day, they'll be sprinkles more than anything else. That's it. I truly believe most, if not all, of Wave Country will stay dry during the day tomorrow, which is good for all of our outdoor plans with Mom on Sunday, right? So we'll start things off in the 50s tomorrow morning, and we'll warm up pretty quickly. We got up to 74, I believe, here in Louisville today. We'll be close to that mark by noon tomorrow. And we'll head for the low 80s for those afternoon highs. So a warm Mother's Day, yeah, for sure. But compared to where we've been so far with weekends this spring, we'll take it. We will take it. All right, who's watching tonight? Clayton is on YouTube. Hello, hello, my friend. Blue on YouTube says hello. ZK says hi. Nikki says hi. Loving this free AC at night. Yeah, it was kind of chilly this morning, wasn't it? You live outside of Louisville. I mean, there were some upper 30s this morning out in Franklin County, I believe. Near the state capitol was in the 30s. A lot of us were in the 40s. So a little cool, little free AC, that's for sure. Stacy's watching on YouTube also. Everybody's watching on YouTube tonight. Anita says hello. Beautiful day. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad with those temperatures. Weather Geek says hello. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Where's our Facebook crowd tonight? Y'all there? Kelly's there. Hello, Kelly. Hope you're well up there in Jennings County. Yeah, it's been a good day. It has been a good day. So as we go through the day tomorrow, again, I truly believe nearly all of us will be dry. And now you're saying, oh, he says nearly everybody. That means somebody's going to get showers. Not necessarily. I'm just going to watch our far, far southern counties throughout the day tomorrow, especially in the morning, early in the morning, then again in the evening. But much of the day looks good. If you're in Louisville, you're good to go tomorrow during the day. No rain at all. Southern Indiana, same thing. Just some high clouds, and that's about it. So this is noon. Let me back it up a little bit. Let me back up Futurecast here. Now, you don't see it on this particular Futurecast, but it was there on earlier model runs today. Down near Litchfield, Mumfordville, Campbellsville, and Columbia, kind of the initial moisture push, if you will, from that low was trying to spit out a couple of showers in that far southern tier of counties in Wave Country early tomorrow morning. This particular model run does not have that of this particular model, which is our in-house model. But there are some models that still want to keep maybe a couple of showers in our far southern counties tomorrow morning. So that's why I've got the 10% chance early in the day. Again, this is not an issue for Louisville. This is not an issue for Southern Indiana. This is not an issue for Shelbyville or LaGrange or even Hardinsburg and Fort Knox. But even then, it's not a huge issue at all. You notice most of the day tomorrow, just some of those high clouds streaming in. We're in the 70s pretty quickly by lunchtime, getting out of church after church, heading over to mom's or grandma's house for dinner or for lunch. Looks fine. Looks good. Low to mid 70s across the board. Now, as we get towards 6 o'clock in the evening, so basically 24 hours from now, just shy of it, I draw your attention to the very bottom of the map. See those showers down near Bowling Green? That's the moisture that is really going to moisten up the atmosphere in our area, for lack of a better term. And that will lead to our higher rain chances as we go through the evening, but especially overnight tomorrow night. A lot of you stay dry until overnight tomorrow night. But some of these showers initially tomorrow evening down near Bowling Green will kind of pivot to the north and west. And as they do so, they would actually have a better chance of clipping Grayson, Hart, Greene, Taylor, and Adair counties, okay? So the chance for rain basically all day tomorrow is confined to our very far southern counties. If you don't live in those counties, you really don't have anything to worry about during the day on Sunday. So let's keep going. You see some of those showers becoming a little more widespread across our southern zones as the evening progresses. And then once we get past midnight, that low pressure will start riding up the Mississippi River slowly, very slowly. But as it does so, we're going to see more of that moisture push move in from south to north, okay? So as we go through the overnight hours, notice how that shower coverage really ramps up. Could there be some thunder tomorrow night? I can't rule it out. I'm not worried about severe weather tomorrow night. And by tomorrow night, I mean overnight tomorrow night. I'm not worried about severe. There might be some rumbles down in central Kentucky, but that's about it when it comes to thunder. But you notice on Futurecast, this is 7 a.m. Monday morning, we've got fairly widespread rain across wave country. So I will say the timing of this rain shield that I'm showing you, it's a little all over the place right now when you look at the models. This particular model is very fast with this rain shield, bringing it in during the Monday morning commute. Some models want to hold it back until lunchtime on Monday. I'm not sold on that because a lot of times these southern systems, if you will, they move ahead of schedule compared to the models. So I think there's going to be some rain in the area, widespread rain, in fact, during the Monday morning drive. Let's focus on Monday, shall we? You notice the rain chances after midnight, not too high, 20% for the most part. But it's once we get past that 3 or 4 a.m. hour when that rain shield starts to move in from south to north. I think here in Louisville, we could see that steadier rain around 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, which would obviously not be great for the morning rush on Monday, right? But as we head into the late morning and afternoon on Monday, notice how we're just going 40% across the board. Monday is not a washout, guys. It's not. There will be a decent bit of dry time. I'm not saying it's going to be beautiful because it's going to be kind of yucky outside, overcast, a little humid, but it's not going to be a full-on soaking gully washer on Monday. Highest rain coverage will be early in the day, but as we head into Monday afternoon, what we're going to have to turn our attention to is going to be scattered storms that produce heavy rain and lightning, very similar to what we had back on Thursday. Could there be some hail with some of the stronger storms? Perhaps. But the main issue as we head into Monday afternoon will be those scattered heavy thunderstorms with very heavy rain and a lot of lightning, those pulse type storms where they perk up for 20, 30 minutes and then they collapse. That'll be the stories we head into Monday afternoon. So here's Futurecast. Let me back it up. I forgot to pause the maps at the beginning. My apologies. But this is 7 a.m. Monday. Somewhere nearby, be it here at home or be it here in the metro or elsewhere, we're going to have a shield of rain. That would obviously slow us down heading back to work or school Monday morning if it moves in during the rush. And that's when the rain coverage is at its highest on Monday. When I'm talking about coverage, I mean how much rain we're seeing across our entire 34 counties, okay? We head into midday Monday. Notice it's much more scattered, but at the same time, we're warming things up into the low, perhaps mid 70s, depending on how many breaks in the clouds we get. And we start to see those heavier downpours, those heavier thunderstorms developing in our southern zones. This is around noon on Monday. Again, I'm not overly worried about severe weather on Monday. I'm not worried about severe weather tomorrow night. I'm not really all that worried about severe weather on Monday during the day. It would just be these storms that pulse up that would have heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning potentially. And then 20, 30 minutes later, they collapse. And those types of storms will just be swirling around again throughout the day on Monday and then again into Tuesday. If you heard this story before, yeah, it's happening once again. But you still see a lot of dry time. So if you have plans Monday afternoon, should you cancel them? No, not yet. But you've got to really be weather aware because any activity on Monday afternoon on the radar is going to be very heavy and there will be some lightning. Obviously, you get lightning within 8 to 10 miles of your event, that's a problem. So just keep that in mind as we go through the day on Monday. We lose the heat of the day Monday night. That should kind of put a lid on the storm coverage a little bit, but even so with that low nearby, it could still set off. It could still set off a few downpours late Monday night. And into Tuesday, we do it all over again. Because that low pressure by Tuesday, it won't be along the Mississippi River anymore. It won't be down in Missouri and Arkansas. It's going to be right on top of us. So that will keep those scatter storms around basically all day Tuesday, especially later in the day as we heat things up. Basically the same thing as Monday for Tuesday. Severe risk is low, but any storms that fire up will have heavy rain and will have a lot of lightning. As we get into Wednesday, there's still some question as to how far north and east this low wants to go. It's going to move to the north and east by Wednesday, but the question is how fast does it make its journey to the north and east? The faster it goes, the drier we'll be here at home on Wednesday. But if it's kind of just steadily going to the north and east, it'll still be enough of an influence to where we'll have some scattered storms again on a Wednesday. If we do see any storms on Wednesday, they will not be as widespread as what we'll see Monday and Tuesday. It's a 30% chance on Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, it's a 60% chance. Okay? So 60 Monday, 60 Tuesday, then a 30% chance on Wednesday. That low does finally get a move on late Wednesday, and at least briefly, Wednesday night into early Thursday, we get a break. And that means a huge, huge warm-up. Look at this. Thursday, 89, our forecast high in Louisville. We could make a run for 90 degrees on Thursday, especially if we don't see storms during the day. And I really don't think we'll see a lot of storms on Thursday during the day. So I'm not ready to say 90 degrees for a high temperature on Thursday yet, but it's going to be mighty, mighty close, especially here in the heat island of the Louisville Metro. A lot of you outside Louisville on Thursday will stay in the upper 80s, but here in town, we all know how the heat island works. Would not be surprised if we get close to 90. For the first time this year by Thursday, which is May 15th. I looked it up yesterday. The first 90-degree day in 2024 was on May 21st. So maybe a week earlier this year. We will see. We will see. Back to the comments we go. Donna sending her love. We love you guys. We appreciate y'all watching us as always. Shonda says, hello. Gonna have to watch the replay. That's all right, Shonda. That's what the replays are for. Once we're done with our live conversation, that video will be right there on all the social platforms that you can watch anytime, anywhere. Angela says hi on Facebook. Cameron's asking about this being potentially a significant severe event as we get towards the end of the work week. Well, there's two pieces to it, one of which is the setup we just talked about. As far as severe weather, I don't see a significant severe event at all for the early part of the week. Now, we get towards the end of the week, there's going to be a greater severe weather risk, but I still don't know if it's going to be a full-on huge event necessarily. Regardless, it's still a severe risk by the end of the week, and we'll dive into that in a moment. Marianne is like all of us. I am sick and tired of rain and storms. That's why we had to take full advantage of these dry days we get here or there, right? Let's see. Hello. Tina, appreciate you watching on YouTube. So Sunday, we'll get some rain, or that'll be after 6 o'clock Sunday night. Again, I think a lot of us stay dry before, if we're going to look at 6 o'clock Sunday night, nearly all of us stay dry before 6 p.m. tomorrow. I've just got a very tiny shower chance during the day in our far southern counties, Grayson, Hart, Green, Taylor, Adair. If you live in those 5 counties, 10% chance for a shower tomorrow during the day. Everybody else is fine. Once we get past 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, but even later than that, really, that's when the showers' chances start to climb. It's really not going to be until after midnight tomorrow night when the rain chances really ramp up. And I think if you're in Louisville and southern Indiana, you're not going to see a drop of rain until after midnight tomorrow night. So kind of a tricky setup as far as, depending on where you are, decides how much your rain chance is with this system, at least at the start. It's not a blanket 60% rain chance or anything like that. But again, any shower chance tomorrow is confined to our far southern counties during the day. And then really after midnight tomorrow night is when we could all start to see showers and maybe some thunder, but nothing severe. Let's see. Blue is not a fan of what you're seeing now, Thursday, with that high of 89. It's a little early. It's a little early, that's for sure. Kelly has a good question. Is there a reason all the severe weather has seemingly been overnight this spring season? It's not just this season. A lot of times, just kind of, it's a lot to explain in a live stream like this, but it truly just comes down to timing. I know that sounds, well, of course it does, but that's true. A lot of times these bigger synoptic scale severe weather setups develop to our west, closer to the Mississippi River, even further west than that sometimes. And by the time they get here, it's the middle of the night. It just happens that way a lot of times. And unfortunately, this year it has happened rather frequently where we have had severe weather events in the evening or the middle of the night, which is brutal and concerning for us as meteorologists, because we got to make sure you guys are awake when severe weather happens, right? Claudia on YouTube says, hello. Angela, the earthquake in Tennessee was a surprise to read about this morning. Yeah, did you guys see that? Had a 4.1 magnitude quake in the Smokies this morning. I don't think anybody felt it around here. I could be wrong. If you felt something earlier this morning, perhaps, but yeah, that was definitely a surprise to see this morning for sure. Nikki, will y'all be using that AI tracker again? Yeah, you know what, Nikki? I'm so sorry. I forgot to put it in my show tonight. Doggone it. I knew I was forgetting something. But yeah, we use that AI, all those AI tools frequently when we're looking at long-range severe weather setups. And that's really part of the reason why we flagged Friday as an alert day so early. We were just looking at the AI tools. We were looking at the models kind of side by side, and things were lining up to where we could have at least some severe weather on Friday of next week. I really can't get into the specifics at this point because we're still 6 days away, right? But let's just give you the general overview for the latter part of the work week. So this is Thursday evening, and this is the GFS model. This is the American model, okay? Thursday, most of the storm action looks like it's going to be east of us, but you notice that warm front off to our west on Thursday. This is part one. As we head into Thursday night, this warm front is going to lift through the region. As it does so, models are suggesting some showers and thunderstorms will develop. The million-dollar question is where? Most of the AI tools that Nikki was talking about, most of the AI tools have the greatest severe weather threat further to our north and west, across Illinois, up towards Chicago, back into Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. This is for Thursday. So for now, I think the greater severe concern on Thursday is to our north and west. Having said that, if we get more thunderstorms, let me back it up a little bit. If we get, there we go. If we get more storms that develop further to the south along that warm front, closer to us, we would have to watch them because they could be strong to severe. This is for Thursday evening. There's just not enough confidence at this point, one way or the other, to go with an alert day or not for Thursday. Some models keep us bone dry on Thursday and Thursday night. The GFS suggests perhaps a couple of storms that we would need to watch along that warm front. So that's part one. No alert day for part one right now. That might change, though. The alert day is for part two. As we go into Friday afternoon and Friday evening, you notice this cold front off to our west. That will be approaching our area Friday evening. And our confidence is decent at this point to where we believe there may be a cluster of strong to severe storms that develops near or perhaps ahead of that front and zips through wave country Friday evening. Could this be a mesoscale convective system, an MCS? Yes, it could. Could this be a QLCS or a squall line, as you guys probably know it better as? Perhaps. I think it would be more of an MCS, or just a big bow of storms that rolls through. But that storm cluster, or clusters, plural, could be strong to severe Friday evening. So that's where things stand at this point. It's not a lot. Sorry, I got a spammer. It's not a lot. I know. You guys want more specifics. I get it. So do we. But right now, the best I can tell you is the greater severe threat for the latter part of the week is going to be Friday evening. During the time when the cold front starts to move in. As far as what kind of threats we're looking at, it would be, gosh, this spammer's ridiculous. Jeez, sorry about that. As far as what threats we might be looking at Friday evening, I think it would be more of a damaging wind concern at this point. And another thing that might work in our favor, actually, would be that evening timing. You know, could we get these storms move in later in the evening, let's say past 11 o'clock, once we've lost that heat of the day? Could that help to negate the severe threat? Sure, it could. But the signal is still screaming to us that we need to pay attention to next Friday. So we're going to keep the alert day in place, and we'll really just have to watch that cluster of strong to severe storms potentially as we get towards Friday evening along that front. There's still then some question as to how quickly that front moves through heading into next weekend. It's been trending a little bit faster. So while we might have some lingering storms early next Saturday, faster progression of that cold front would help to limit our rain and storm chances through the rest of next weekend. But I'm not going to take those storm chances out just yet because we're still a ways off. So here comes the 10-day. And if you want to, excuse me, if you want to get any questions in here real quick before we wrap up tonight, let me know. Let's go into the end of the 10-day. Next weekend, I mentioned storm chances still lingering on Saturday for sure. Sunday and Monday are kind of iffy at this point. It just depends, like I said, on how quickly that front moves through or does not move through. I'm going to play it cautious at this point and keep those days at 30%. The very last day on the 10-day, next Tuesday, May 20th. When you look at the big picture models, the operational models, as we call them behind the scenes, it has been very consistent now. Brian's talked about it a lot on Storm Talk for weeks now, that towards the end of the month, things would not only get active, but they could turn severe active. And the long-term models have been keying in on the Tuesday that you see at the end of the 10-day, the last day on the 10-day. They've been keying in on that day and the day after, May 20th and 21st, for a very potent system to roll through the region that would give us a interesting setup for severe weather. I would not be surprised at all if we get an alert day coming out for next Tuesday or Wednesday, May 20th and 21st. So we're way out here. We're talking 10 or 11 days away. But I would not be surprised if we had to flag that time frame, the 20th and 21st of the month, as an alert day, because it looks like a fairly potent system will be nearby at that time that could enhance our severe weather risk about 10 days from now. So that's our earliest alert for the end of the 10-day. Obviously, we've got a lot more storm action to deal with before we get to that, with the hit and miss storms around Monday and Tuesday. And then, of course, that risk for those clusters of severe storms, especially Friday evening, as it looks at this point. Did you get all that? It's a lot to talk about for sure in the next 10. Well, let's see. Anita, not ready to use the air conditioner yet. Anita, that's awesome that you haven't been able to use it yet, and we're on May 10th. I gave up on that months ago. I turned mine on back when we had those 80-degree days in March. I like it cool in my house, as anybody that knows me will tell you. Let's see. Crispy brisket, will we have the ingredients for an outbreak on Friday? I don't see an outbreak necessarily. I don't. But I think the instability is going to be off the charts Friday. We're going to be so warm. I mean, look at that. Even before the storms get here, we're close to 90 on Friday. That is a juiced up environment that we'll have that would allow that complex of storms that might develop along or ahead of that front to race through wave country, bringing with it a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and wind. My main concern would be wind right now for Friday evening. But I don't see it being a full-on outbreak at this point, which is good. Nikki, one reason why YouTube is superior, rare spam bots. That is very true, Nikki. Facebook and whatever Elon wants to call his platform today, it's just riddled with spammers. It's terrible. Let's see. Cameron, so let's say things slow down dramatically Friday morning with that first round. Could the threat increase with daytime heating and supercells? It's possible. It's possible. But this setup doesn't have a ton of shear with it. It's got some. It's got enough for damaging wind, certainly, but there's not a lot of spin with the wind right now. That could still change. And obviously the timing could affect any storm risks that we see during the afternoon on Friday, but I really think it's going to be Friday evening. We have to watch for the storm cluster. This is kind of something we see more so in the summer months. It's similar to what we had back on Oaks Day, to be honest with you, where we had that cluster of storms roll right through the metro, producing some damaging wind gusts, caused all the everybody to take cover at the track on Oaks Day. It's that kind of a setup that we're going to have to watch on Friday, based on what I'm seeing at this point. So, good question, though. Good question, Cameron. Appreciate it. Paula, this weather's getting old. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. At least we had some quieter weather this week. Aqua Marie on YouTube, SPC outlook for Friday. We don't have one for Friday yet. I do think that will change soon. There is an outlook for Thursday, mainly for areas north and west of us. So along the, along that warm front I talked about earlier. I think the greater risk on Thursday would be north and west of us, closer to Chicago. But that could still change. I'm more focused on that second round with the cold front Friday evening right now. But if it looks like we might have more trouble on Thursday with the warm front, then we may have to tack on Thursday as an alert day too. But I'm not ready to do that just yet. All right, guys, that's all I got tonight. Appreciate you tuning in as always. We will be back on the television side of things, the old school TV on Wave News at 11. So if you're still up by that point, we hope you'll tune in. And of course, we'll be here on Wave Weather Now as we go through this upcoming week. More busy times ahead. Appreciate you guys watching. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you guys on the flip side. Catch you tonight at 11. Take care.